We have some huge information on AMD's next-gen CPUs. Actually, their next 3 generations of CPUs. The story originally comes from ChipsandCheese.com, but before I get to it, I will say that while they claim to be pretty confident in their sources, they can't guarantee it. Of course, AMD is always working on their next generation of processors even before the current gen is released, so they almost certainly do know the performance, or at least what they're aiming for. Still, keep that in mind. With that out of the way, let's get to it. Starting things off, Chips and Cheese goes over Zen 3 Plus, Zen 4, and Zen 5. Now, if you haven't heard of Zen 3 Plus, you aren't alone. It isn't in any of AMD's roadmaps, but it's meant to be a jumping off point until AMD launches Zen 4. I'm going to assume it's similar to AMD's Ryzen 3000 XT series. With that said, it looks to be far more significant. According to Chips and Cheese, it will be based on TSMC's N6 node, which isn't a big upgrade, but apparently it will offer between a 4 and 7% IPC increase. Nothing big, but it may actually be the first AM5 CPU, which is a big deal given AMD has been on AM4 for years now. They're also assuming it will include support for DDR5, but they aren't sure. The real thing here though is Zen 4, which I'm guessing will be AMD's Ryzen 6000 series of CPUs. Of course, the name is irrelevant, as the performance is the real kicker and Zen 4 is looking like a monster. According to their sources, Zen 4 is expected to receive an IPC increase of a whopping 25% with an overall performance gain of 40%. That's unbelievable. Apparently, an engineering sample of Genoa, which is AMD's Zen 4 based server chip, was 29% faster than Milan with the same cores and the same clocks. And that's just an engineering sample. Not only that, but they even heard that Zen 4 may finally bring an all-core overclock of 5 GHz thanks to TSMC's 5nm process. Basically, Zen 4 is set to be an absolute beast. Unfortunately, so far, rumors claim it won't be released until next year. Maybe that will move up with Intel's upcoming Alder Lake release, but I'm not sure. Lastly is Zen 5, but Chips and Cheese claims that this source comes from a less reliable source, so take this with a bit more salt. According to their source, AMD's Zen 5 will be roughly the same difference from pile driver to Zen 1, which was 40%. And a third source stated that AMD's design goal for Zen 5 is a 2.5 to 3 times IPC increase from Zen 1, which is around that 40%. Basically, AMD is only just getting started with their Zen architecture, and they have some giant updates coming soon.